Good day, fellow Jersey nerds, and welcome to episode 73 of the Jersey Nerds podcast, powered by HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. I'm your host, Ryan, and today on the Nerdcast, we're going to be talking about the newly released 2020 NHL Winter Classic logo. This is a game that will be held in Dallas, Texas, between the Stars and the Predators. The belt buckle logo has been released, and we're going to dive deep into that, and we're going to do that today with our co-hosts, Shawn, Corey, and TC. Let's start with you, Shawn. What's going on? You excited for this logo?
I'm very excited for this logo. I'm very excited for some good old-fashioned Texas hockey outside, tell you what. Today's jersey for the podcast is a personal favorite of mine. Let's go with 86-87 LA Kings away. Best jersey of the 80s, I think. I got a beautiful silver and red 20th anniversary patch for this baby. And number 9, the underrated legend of the 80s, Bernie Nichols, going on the back of this one eventually at some point.
Mr. 50 goals, Bernie Nichols, absolutely. Number 9 for the LA Kings. But if you haven't seen that 20th anniversary patch, if you're listening to this, go look up the 20th anniversary patch for the LA Kings. It was huge. And I don't know why it has red in there, but it does. Because why not? Maybe the 20th anniversary is the red anniversary. I don't know. Also joining us this week to talk about the 2020 Winter Classic logo is Corey. What's going on?
Not much. I'm excited to talk about this logo. It's definitely unique from the other ones. And while we're talking about jerseys, I've got my 2016 Colorado Stadium Series jersey on, which I narrowly avoided spilling coffee on right before we started.
Oh, that would not be a good spill to deal with. That's tough. I mean, that's like that's a drop everything emergency. You got to go. That's going straight into the washing machine.
I probably wouldn't have been able to podcast. Yeah, I would probably have called it off.
Also joining us to talk about the 2020 Winter Classic logo is TC. What's going on?
Diddly ho, neighborino.
What do you got on today?
Today I have a final edition Edge Connor McDavid Oilers home.
We got the captain's patch on there, or there was a stadium patch. Didn't they wear the stadium patch?
No, I didn't get the stadium patch. This one was before he got to captainhood. I got a sweet deal on it on eBay because classic faux pas. They knew that the guy liked hockey, but they didn't know what team he liked, so they bought him an Indo Edge Authentic.
That's always it.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a Flyers fan. I don't really care."
I always take advantage of the naive, I guess you could say. I remember a long time ago driving along, someone's having an estate sale, and I see a bunch of jerseys out on the lawn hung up, and I'm like, oh, I got to stop and check those out. Unfortunately, the guy who died only bought fake jerseys, so that was not worth the stop. But as for me, I'm wearing the Staffer exclusive HJC jersey with the HJC logo on the front, navy and white. Got my number 16 on the back. We're all here. We all have our jerseys on, so let's start into this logo. So as I've been mentioning constantly, we're going to be talking about the 2020 NHL Winter Classic logo. This is for the game being held in Dallas, Texas, and a link to our story on HockeyJerseyConcepts.com is provided in the episode description. So this logo has been based off a belt buckle. So it's clear that there's going to be a heavy cowboy theme to the 2020 Winter Classic, which could be both good and bad. We'll see where it goes. We have the classic Winter Classic type script. Everything's got a very silver or metallic look to it. The year 2020 is in gold. The banner with the city name is also in gold. There's that kind of bull rope trim that goes around it that kind of completes the belt look, but there's lots of gold, lots of silver, and lots of gradients here. This may be a very polarizing logo, but we'll see where this goes. Let's start off with the positives. Shawn, lead us off.
I think there's a lot of likes about this logo, but I think the biggest thing for me is that it's different. And it's a very simple thing, but in elaborating, every Winter Classic logo has something about it that ties it to the location, to the stadium, to whatever. And this continues that 100%. It sticks out a lot to me. None of the other Winter Classic logos really have that silver and gold look to it. Maybe you could say the New York game due to that 10th anniversary. But other than that, this is one of the few Winter Classic logos that isn't dominated by two shades of blue and white. And I really appreciate that they're going outside of that this year and going at it with something that, works with the location.
Corey, what do you like about this logo?
Yeah, I have to agree with Shawn with pretty much everything he said. It incorporates more of, I find, the state rather than the city. So it feels like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to draw in more people from around the state to get excited for the game. But I think it's really great, like I said, with like Shawn said, I mean, with the silver and the gold, it really ties in well. All the little nods to Texas with the stars and the bull rope. I think that it really, first place you would imagine this game's being played is in Dallas. So there's definitely a lot of good things about it.
TC, what are you thinking? I know the last time we had you on, I think we were speculating about this logo, but you were mentioning that it should be designed after that big, huge cowboy figure that caught on fire. Are you disappointed about that? And what's good about this logo?
Well, I'm a little disappointed that Big Tex didn't make it. He definitely would have made it as Tex. All he needs is a little hockey stick, and boom, you got yourself one massive hockey player. Still an inch or two short of Zdeno Chara, but we can't win everything. As for the logo itself, I do like, just like Corey and Shawn said, that it sort of strays away from the traditional color scheme, the two shades of blue and white. I really like the almost metallic feel, and I really like the way that it ties into the state of Texas. For those of you that don't know, these big belt buckles aren't just a fashion statement. They're actually given out as prizes when you win a rodeo. So it's sort of a badge of honor more so than just a fashion choice. So I think that fits in well with sort of the prestige of the occasion. And I think it's a very well-designed logo that ties in great with the logo.
It'd be great to see if the Winter Classic logo was actually made into a belt buckle and sold at the event. I think that would be tremendous. But
I would buy the shit out of that.
That would be great to have a bunch of people at the game with big ass Winter Classic belt buckles. That's got to happen. Someone's doing that. Someone's doing that. But sticking with the belt buckle theme, I think that's really tremendous. I really like that they kind of grabbed something unique. You weren't really expecting a belt buckle, but as soon as they released it, you're like, oh, of course, that's a great tie-in. This logo really could have been a disaster with all the gradients going on in it. But I think it really works well. It's a very unique logo, and I think this is going to be a very unique event. So that really works. It doesn't look like your traditional Winter Classic logo, but it still fits in with the theme of the previous 11 games. So that works out pretty well. So I think this is a very unique logo. I believe I read on the Fan Brands article that once it has some animation added to it, you see it kind of in a 3D presentation. That's when it's really going to come to life. That's what it's meant to be displayed as. So that will be exciting to see. But overall, I really like the belt buckle theme and the fact that they completely avoided a disaster that this could have been and have come up with a really unique and special mark for this event. We do have to touch on the negatives, though. So, Shawn, is there anything that's grinding your gears here?
There is, but I have to look at something right quick to make sure that they actually did this. They did. Okay. Does anybody remember the Dallas Stars 25th anniversary patch and what they did with that?
The chrome effect with the
rubberized.
Yeah.
This is going to be that.
Oh yeah.
We're not good. I fear that. Like this, I got no qualms with the logos. I just fear that in presentation we are going to get a rubberized Winter Classic patch, and it will be the only one. And it's unfortunate because metallic can be done in twill very easily. It looks nice. Tampa and Vancouver did it for nearly a decade apiece. I mean, once is fine, but it's not going to have that same. I don't know if if any of the listeners have outdoor game jerseys, having that sewn on stitched patch, that you might have had to spend the extra almost $25 to get on your jersey is worth it. And now to make that out of rubber, which I think is what they're going to do. I don't know. It isn't the same. And I wouldn't even have the same qualm if it was a Stadium Series game. But for the Winter Classic, I just think that solid, old-school sewn patches are going to be best, and we're not going to get that this time.
I would not be against that. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I would not be against that. I kind of enjoyed that style, so I wouldn't be against that. But I do remember for the Boston and Chicago game, I believe the jerseys started coming with the patches again. They may have abandoned that whole buy the patches.
They did. No. That so I have the Montreal 2000, the NHL 100 game.
Yeah.
Both those jerseys came with the patch.
Okay, so
at least Montreal, and I've seen both Winter Classic jerseys, and they do both come with a patch.
So I think they kind of pick and choose which ones they do. Like the Winter Classics from last year, none of them had the patch. But the like Shawn said, the NHL 100 did, and then this year the Stadium Series had it, and the Winter Classic had it as well. So it seems like, I don't know, it's almost like depending what they're feeling like doing that year. Because some years they have it, some years they don't. It seems really inconsistent the way they do that.
We'll see what they do for the Heritage Classic, because that's the last 3 outdoor games that the jerseys have come with the patch on them. And I would think if they do it with the Heritage Classic, it's safe to say that is what's going to be happening going forward. And we're getting rid of that whole buy the patch separate, which was kind of silly anyways. But Corey, just is there any negatives for you with this logo?
I mean, I think you touched on it a little bit. I think when you look at the picture, when you're looking at your screen, it kind of seems like it's meant to be seen in a 3D kind of effect. So a lot of the little design aspects kind of get lost when you're just looking at a 2D picture. That's my only real negative thing I have to say about it, because I really like everything, and I think whether it's in the rubber, like Shawn said, or if it's going to be a embroidered patch, I think it's going to look good either way. And I think the little intricate designs will really pop on a 3D design.
TC, is there anything here that's dragging this logo down?
I don't know if it's necessarily a negative, but it's sort of the lack of like a wintry feel for me. And I know it's because it's outside of the Northeast, which I've been asking for years. But if you look at the history of the Winter Classic patches and the logos, they all have a very wintry feel to them. Every last one of them clearly has like snow, frost, things like that. This one is just missing that little bit that truly gives it a Winter Classic thing. And I know it's because the odds of snow being there are slim to none, but it just feels kind of strange seeing a Winter Classic logo that doesn't outright say, hey, this is winter, we're playing outdoors.
Yeah, but they're still going to put that fake snow down across the field to make it seem like to make it seem like they had the giant flurry just before the game started. But
we had a wonderful flurry here when it was 72 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to figure out, nothing is really striking me as terrible on this logo. I think it's a really well done logo, appropriate for the event. Definitely a one-off.
Victory green.
Well, the Stars are going to definitely use Victory Green. I mean, it's got to be a green.
Well, no, but there's not.
No, it's not in the logo, but we're going to see it in the uniforms. We're going to see green from the Stars, I think, and we're going to see yellow from the Predators. So,
we're getting black from the Stars and silver from the.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're getting that weird 90s, like the material I'm talking about. The shiny silver that had the lines in it.
Yeah.
I was just, so I can't find anything negative. Maybe that background kind of dark gray, almost turning into a navy color, makes it a little dull. But again, I don't think a flat version on my computer screen is the version we're meant to see of this logo. It's meant to be an active logo. It's meant to be a 3D logo. So I can't. It's not a perfect logo, but
what if they made the belt buckle a spinner?
Yes, please. First spinner patch in NHL history.
It may happen. Who knows, right?
Or instead of putting it up on the shoulder, they put it at the appropriate height on the jersey where a belt buckle would be.
Oh my goodness, that is fantastic.
It just sounds like we keep this going. It just sounds like an outdoor game hosted in like 2005, 2006 LA.
We got snow on our fucking palm trees. Deal with it.
We got spinner patches and grills.
It'd be great to see if like the free giveaway was instead of seat cushions, because you won't. Well, maybe they'll still need them. That seems to be the free giveaway every year at the Winter Classic. I'd go with cowboy hats for this one, and then hopefully like cheap cowboy hats, because if someone gets a hat trick, no one's throwing their quality cowboy hat onto the ice. So I want to see.
What they need to do is get like
what was that?
Fur-lined cowboy hats.
Oh no, the foam ones.
Yeah, big giant foam ones.
Big foam rubber cowboy hats.
It's a funny hat.
Nacho cowboy hat.
Oh, nacho hats just cracked.
I want to be a nacho man.
In terms of the other 11 Winter Classic logos, where given without being an exact science, where does this one rank for you, Shawn?
I'd probably put it somewhere in the middle, honestly. It's like, I think probably the biggest flaw that I have with it is honestly that I prefer longer Winter Classic patches. The best ones in my mind are probably the St. Louis game, the Detroit game. Like, I think that those look better on the jersey. That being said, I think it's better than the, first couple. I prefer it's the last two. I'd even put it above the Philly game. So, somewhere's in the middle.
Corey, if you had to rank this one without being exact, generally, where would you put it?
I would say it's in my top 5 for sure. Just because of it being so unique, that brings my rating of it up without even going into any of the other details with it. I think that it's a vast improvement over what we've seen over the last couple of years, and hopefully see more unique designs coming out instead of a lot of just copy and paste.
How about you, TC?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's top 3 for me. I really think it's a well-designed logo that ties in with the host site. They managed to work the Winter Classic word mark. And I think it's actually sort of a sign that they're moving towards more, instead of earlier on, it was more like the city skyline, typical landmarks. They're now going in the past last year and this year, it's more abstract, like symbols of the local area instead of the actual buildings. And I kind of like that.
Yeah, in the general term of things, I would have to rank this in the positives category. That this is a really good logo, identifies the game very well and where it's being played. I love the theme and the symbolism of the logo. So, but there are other logos that were just really excellent, and just by their nature, they're going to be better than this one. But without going in, really sitting down and hammering out a position, I think this one fits probably in the upper third of Winter Classic logos. It's a really well done logo, and I'm reluctant to rate it a 10, but at the same time, I'm having a hard time finding really anything wrong with it. And I think it's a really strong logo. As TC mentioned, maybe there could be some wintry symbolism there, but at the same time, it's not really a wintry game except in name. So how do you have a game with the name winter in the name and not have winter symbols, but at the same time, they don't fit here. So that might be the only knock on it, but I don't know if you can knock the logo for that. But let's get to our ratings out of 10. Shawn, you're going to be up first.
Yeah, despite my nitpicking, I really like this logo. And regardless of the patch type, if the jerseys are good, I'm probably going to get one. 9 out of 10 from me. It's not quite perfect, but again, Winter Classics have such a high standard that basically anything below an 8, and it's not a Winter Classic logo. So 9 out of 10 for me.
How about you, Corey?
My rating's an 8.5 out of 10. It's just there's minor things that I would maybe say need to be a little bit tweaked on it, but nothing worth overhauling the logo. I think it's a really well done logo, and I don't have much to complain about with it.
And TC?
Sort of echoing what the guys have said. There are a few minor tweaks that can be done, but overall, it's a very strong logo, and I'm going to give it a 9.
All right, so 3 9s and an 8.5 brings the average rating up to 8.9. So that's 8.875, whatever you want to say there. That is an excellent rating, and I think this logo will really show well. It'll, and who knows, maybe it'll age well too. Maybe if the game really embraces the cowboy theme and they do a fantastic job with that, this could really become one of the top Winter Classic logos of all time. So it's very promising at this point. It'll be great to see what they do with it going forward. We did put the logo out there on Twitter, and we'll do this going forward with the podcast. We'll put our topic out on Twitter, and we want you guys to respond, and we'll read some of those responses that we get here on the podcast. So James Hamilton responded to our tweet. I'm giving the concept a solid 9. I'm giving the colors a -9, a 9. Oh, he's giving the colors a -9 because he can't think of a less inspiring color than gray. I can actually understand that, but at the same time, because it's belt buckle inspired, what else are you going to do? Copper?
Rose gold.
Victory green.
Rose gold everything.
Shawn, if you
Gun
showed
metal.
up...
Yeah, gun metal.
Gun metal.
Prismatic chrome.
I want Shawn to show up to Dallas wearing a victory green belt buckle and try and pass himself off as an authentic cowboy. As an authentic
I can't
Texan.
pass myself off as an authentic cowboy in Calgary, let alone friggin'. I can't even go to Diet Texas before I go to Texas.
Did you just call Calgary Diet Texas?
No, I called Alberta Diet.
You got to. It makes sense. Like they've got the rodeos, they've got the oil fields, and they fucking have a wrestling dynasty in there. It's
everything's bigger in Alberta.
Is it?
No, not really.
No.
It's about the same.
Except
everybody's
sodas.
got money and more
gotta come down to the States for Freedom Soda.
and Freedom iced coffee and Freedom food and
You know what they're really good at, Alberta? You know what they're really good at in Alberta? Is driving slow. The one time I went out there and no one breaks the speed limit. They're all like friggin' robots, and it was just painful to drive out there. So maybe...
Hear it. Driving through Georgia. So apparently the highway that I take to get between my house and my parents' house is the main thoroughfare for all you Ontarians looking to go to Florida. And
excuse me?
you people
I'm going to go get the flag.
You people.
People think that going 65 in the fast lane of a 65 zone is appropriate. We actually have laws.
Say that again.
It's called the slowpoke law. Even if you're going the speed limit, if there are people behind you that are trying to get around you, you can get pulled over.
We have the same laws in Ontario, but they are not enforced whatsoever. The left lane is entirely supposed to be for passing. Does not happen.
That's the HOV lane.
Ryan,
that's the HOV lane where you hire someone to drive in you so you don't get ticketed for driving as one person in the HOV lane because the Pan Am Games are in town.
Because you
just get your inflatable fuck doll, get a nice wig, maybe a hoodie if you're feeling lazy, and just prop it up in there. No one's the wiser.
People did that.
Yeah, they did do that.
Yeah, big time.
This is a true story.
People do that.
So that is a thing. And
That's my commute time in half.
All right. Well, that covers our Winter Classic logo talk and our fuck dolls riding shotgun talk for the evening. Going on hockeyjerseyconcepts.com right now. We have the San Jose Sharks redesign, and entries for that are due on April 5th. The Quebec Nordiques redesign top 3 votes going on the blog right now, and that ends on March 29th. So be sure to head on over to hockeyjerseyconcepts.com to take part in all of that. That is all we have for you this week. I'd like to thank our co-hosts for being on. To stay up to date with all of our podcasts, be sure to subscribe to the HJC Podcast Network to get notifications when Fake or Authentic comes out every Thursday and when Throwback Throwdown comes out every Saturday. Thank you to all the Jersey nerds for listening. Goodbye, everybody.